Let's talk about how we unlocked AI order prep for interior design projects. And I want to frame it up with this concept because it's super important to reinforce. It's the idea that before you build anything with AI or for AI, you got to ask, why are we building this? And for more on building the right things, we made a video about that called The Biggest Mistake Interior Designers Make with AI. But the problem here, the thing that motivated us to build this, is that there was a problem in the design business that I'm the fractional AI officer for. And basically, the lead designer, she'd been designing in Google Slides for a long time. She was comfortable with it. She had a really good process created for herself. And when you work with creative folks or anybody who's the key talent that keeps fulfillment going, you don't want to mess with their process if you can help it, unless, of course, learning a new process is going to give you a really good return on your investment, but there's a ton of friction there. So you want to build around someone's process to the extent that it's reasonable. And her process looked like this. When she made design boards, she'd be in Google Slides and she'd be shopping on a website, and then she would screenshot the page where she was shopping so that she could know where the item came from, and then she would put it in the slide. Now that actually worked pretty well, but there were some problems. One is that when you save links in screenshots, someone has to go in there and they have to look at the screenshot and pull out the link and then do that for every item when they want to place orders. That problem is compounded when people can't actually find the right source data for an item, because you know how design projects go. Sometimes items go into different rooms, which means they go into different design boards. Sometimes items don't make the cut for design boards, and so things can kind of get messy. And so the result of all of this is that ordering was slowing down fulfillment, and that was costing time and money across the business. Naturally, we thought, how can we use AI for this? But the issue is that running AI on the current process would be hard and expensive. Probably not worth it, was the verdict, because even though we can go into Drive with built-in connectors in Claude or Codex or whatever we're using, AI would have to sort through this mess of screenshots, looking at each screenshot at a time using optical character recognition to identify which item it was, and then extract the URL when it found the right item, and have to do this across multiple slides, and it would just eat up tokens and slow things down unnecessarily. So we went upstream and we fixed the process upstream so that the job would become easy for AI. Now, the upstream problem is that we had messy data. That's the core of it. So it was hard for AI to read the sourcing data, the sourcing info, and expensive for the business owner in tokens. And then AI also didn't know which sourcing info went to which item. So we had to solve those two problems. So we had to store the info in a way that's easy for AI to read, ideally as text. And then we had to attach that source info, that source data, to the actual picture of the item if we could. And we found a way to do it because Slides comes with these fields we could just use directly for this via API. So we were able to make a little app that lets designers stick an item in their board with the link attached to that image. And there are some cool things we can do downstream from that. What is great here too is that in the process, we can save the designer time because she uses an iPhone and an iPad primarily to cut out her images, remove the background. And Apple has built-in tools for that we can interact with using our app. So she cuts them out on her device, sticks them in the board, and all of that can be encapsulated into an iOS app that works for Macs, iPads, and iPhones. And so now, after we built this app, which I'll show you in a sec, what she can do is just, when she's shopping, she hits share instead of screenshotting it, and then she chooses the app, and the app asks, hey, what image do you want, or which images do you want? Because you can pick multiple. If she's doing a design board that has the same piece of furniture from one angle twice, and then the other one from like a side angle, she can pick all those, and it's going to create all three of those pieces of furniture in the board, cut out the backgrounds, and then attach the sourcing data. I'll show you a quick demo. What we have here is a demo recording that AI made for me while I was recording the rest of the videos. It's pretty cool. And it's just going to click through the process you would expect a designer to go through. So it clicks share, and then it taps on the icon for the app. It picks an image. You're going to see the image it chose in a second here. It's this one. And then it's going to use the cutout. It's going to pick the slide deck to use, and it's going to pick the slide for that particular design board, and then insert it. And you're going to see it open up the item inside of the slide right now with it selected. And then you see it clicked on the embedded link and went right back over here to the page where the designer can add it to the cart. And this is kind of a cool meta demo, because what I used here to make this demo is computer control. I let, in this case, Codex control my mouse and go through this simulator app for the iPad to record this demo. Now, what it could also do is add this item to the designer's cart and do that for multiple vendors in the designer's browser. Now, whether or not you want to do that is up to you. I've been using computer control for a while, and I found it to be very safe. So if you wanted to kind of take this to the next level, you could be working on other stuff and you could have AI go through your design boards, pull in an order list, and then one by one, go to the links and add these items to your cart. So you don't have to do that, but this is the kind of stuff that's possible when you build the right stuff. So pretty simple app, and it definitely took some upfront work, but long-term it's more efficient because now it's faster and easier for the designer to create her boards. And now sourcing data stays with items and doesn't get lost. And finally, AI can now read all that data, all that sourcing data, quickly and easily without training, just with built-in connectors that come with Codex or Claude Desktop or whatever. But the real prize here is that this unlocks for us automated order preparation using AI, which can give the design business huge efficiency gains when it comes to fulfillment so that they can service more projects at once and scale as a result. And none of that was possible before because the data was just too messy. This is an example of AI infrastructure, which is probably the most important part of your AI systems. It's stuff that supports AI but isn't AI, and it matters because if you want to do anything with AI, often it's less about training the AI extensively and it's more about giving AI access to the resources that it needs to do a really good job. And if you want more info on that, we created a whole video about it called What Actually Fixes AI Overwhelm for Interior Designers. So the lesson I want to leave you with is that sometimes when you want to do something with AI, the thing that you should build isn't actually AI.